Drew, thank you so very much for joining us today. Appreciate it. It's great to check in with Hat Creek and tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, one, your name and title, and two, how big Hat Creek Burger is at this point.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me. My name's Drew Gressett, and I am, I suppose, the founder of and president of Hat Creek Burger Company. And we are at 26 locations, all here in the state of Texas. So Dallas, Austin, Houston, and a few areas in between.
And when did you open the first one?
So we opened in 2008, actually kind of a lifelong, maybe from the time I was 12 or 13, always wanted my own hamburger restaurant for whatever reason. And so was able to convince some friends and family to kind of back the mission out of a food truck here in Austin. And we got that opened in the fall of 2008.
And when did you open your first brick and mortar store?
So our first brick and mortar store, really, I kind of think of as two separate stories. One, technically our first one was on Burnett Road here in Austin. It was an old Arby's, and we took over the lease and converted it to a Hat Creek, and we were so proud of it. Thought it was an amazing, we had done an amazing job on the remodel, and within the first week of us doing our grand opening, someone came in and ordered a roast beef sandwich like they had walked into an Arby's. And to me, I mean, it didn't look anything like an Arby's, but to I guess the consumer, it did. So that was technically our first brick and mortar, but our concept today is really revolves around the family and these kind of neat, what we call burger patios, indoor outdoor spaces where parents can grab, a beer, kids can run loose on a playground. And our first location like that was here in Austin, out in Westlake. And so that one opened in 2011.
And I understand you're going to be doing some branding or rebranding this year?
Yep, we've been working with an agency here in Austin called Gorilla Suit. And really, at 26 locations, the brand has been largely untouched. Almost since we started. And we've done a few things along the way, certainly, but this year we're excited. Worked with Gorilla Suit a good portion of last year to kind of, just help evolve the brand, grow it up a little bit. And they've brought some pretty cool marks and colors to the brand. And we're going to launch a new website here sometime late in the first quarter, early the second quarter, and some new menu graphics, not menu options. Still a hamburger restaurant, but going to have some new menus, hopefully more user friendly and just sort of in that same graphics package. So we're excited about kind of the way Gorilla Suits helped us kind of move the brand forward.
Most of the units have play areas for kids, fitting into that family-oriented customer base. At this point, what do you see as the future for those?
Yeah, so I mean that's our bread and butter, and that's who we are, at our core, and that there's nothing about that that's changing. We're leaning into that even more, and so that'll continue to be how we grow. We'll grow with those units that have the patios and the play yards, and we're excited about doing that, and just I think that as our brand continues to grow, and we wanted to just make sure that there's something for everybody. We've always wanted to be about the family, but that's everybody. That's not just a children's brand. And I think Gorilla Suit has helped us be, just from a feel standpoint, a little more relevant to adults and parents, and still kids for sure, but just to kind of make sure it stays balanced. And so that's what we're excited about with what we've been working on with them.
The best sellers on the menu, I presume, are burgers, but anything else that you really want to highlight?
Yeah, so we have a burger on the menu called the Sombrero, and that is a pepper jack cheese, and it's got a sauce here in town, Yellowbird green salsa. It's spicy, but that's a great burger that people, you got to enjoy spice, but if you do, That one seems to be a great fit. And then we've got a burger on the menu called the Cowboy Hat, and that's with barbecue sauce and cheddar cheese, bacon, and it's those are kind of our two, primary bestsellers. But to your point, the one that outpaces them all is just a standard big hat, which is our double patty, double meat, double cheese, kind of all the way. That outpaces all of them.
Are you finding as you're growing a day part mix shift, or what do you see as percentage wise on those?
Yeah, so we've been pretty close to 50-50. We've got several of our locations have breakfast, not all, but and the ones that do, mix probably a little north of 10% on breakfast. But in terms of just lunch and dinner, we're 50-50 or pretty close. Different markets can see different things depending upon, which side of the road and that sort of thing. But luckily in most of the markets we're in, we capture a lot of, business trade traffic throughout the day. And then moms with young kids that maybe are, work part-time or can work from home, they'll come in and hang out at our location. And then in the evening, we get the full family, and that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, parents come, get a beer or two, and kids kind of run around. And so we've got a pretty good mix. And then the weekends, we see a pretty big lunch crowd on the weekends. So that's good.
Did you see anything change coming into the vaccine era and out of the pandemic?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, we've got drive-throughs at 24 of our 26 locations. We had always mixed less on the drive-through than a standard QSR concept. During the pandemic, that helped us, on our drive-through, because a lot of our dining rooms, or really all of our dining rooms, were closed at least for some period of time. So people became aware of our drive-throughs, and we saw that really be a great option for people during the pandemic. And then as we've kind of, begun to return to normal, and that's been a slow process just with the various variants and the various things that have gone on. We're seeing more and more people be great with coming in and dining in with us. And one of the things that we felt like, and I think played out to some degree, is that most of our seating is outdoor. And so anyways, that seemed to provide the consumer with a safer dining experience. And so we were lucky in that respect that I think saw a return to some of our dine-in traffic, sooner because of that outdoor dining experience.
26 units now. What do you see as the potential for growth, and how do you plan to do it?
Yeah, so we've been making investments into our corporate office staff and management team, and trying to get our ducks in a row and just get super organized. But we've got a couple of different projects in the pipeline here in the state of Texas, and then we're beginning to take a peek outside the state of Texas as well. Got our eye on the state of Georgia, possibly as our first Hat Creek out of Texas location. And so, part of growing, I think, is becoming more efficient on, the things that go into the real estate side of the equation. And so we've added some good talent in that area, and looking forward to kind of charting out and mapping out kind of the next phase of growth. We did a lot of growth right up, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, right up to the pandemic. And we opened 2 locations during, the middle of the pandemic, which, obviously we had started construction on those before the pandemic got started. So we've been trying to, like I said, get our ducks in a row and get back to a place where we're growing at a more rapid pace. That's where we're comfortable. That's where we want. That's where we like to operate, is in a high growth environment.
And kind of a last question here, what do you see as the greatest area of potential for the Hat Creek Burger brand?
Good question. I think that, we've always had 5 or 6 beers on draft. And, we've before the pandemic started, We had, a good beer crowd kind of through some of the pandemic. I think, that's been diluted a little bit. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to have our patios full of people enjoying, unique craft beers that are largely local. We'll carry some of the more popular domestic stuff too, just to satisfy the masses. But I think that that's a great opportunity for Hat Creek, and a differentiator for us is just kind of our desire to lean into the local craft beer market to provide that experience for our customers. So we're excited about doing that. We're doing some things and have some different partnerships going on that we're looking forward to talking about later this spring.
I look forward to hearing about that, Drew, and congratulations on your success so far.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.